sponsored by EA. Hey everyone, it's AlluringSimmer here, and if you're new here, then welcome to Planet Allura, and if you've been here before, then welcome back. Today, we are doing a renovation of Penny Pizzazz's apartment in San Myshuno. Before we get into today's video, I just want to share that I am part of the EA Creator Program, and you can use my code AlluringSimmer when purchasing Sims 4 DLC, or visit my website at AlluringSimmer.com/creator to see other eligible EA titles that you can use my code AlluringSimmer for when making purchases on the EA app. If you didn't know already, there's currently a sale going on until September 25th, 2025, so now is the perfect time to purchase DLC on a discount. If you do choose to use my code, I greatly appreciate it, and if you've used my code before, I appreciate you so much, as the support helps me out as a content creator. Some other ways you can support my channel are by donating on Ko-fi, subscribing to the Tulip tier on my Patreon, or subscribing to my Twitch channel. But the best way to support me is simply by watching my videos on YouTube all the way through, liking, commenting, and subscribing if you haven't already. If you didn't know as well, I have 2 challenges currently going on that you all can participate in if you would like to make Sims that may be featured in my gameplay. The first way you can participate is by making a child sim that I can use for my camp that I'm going to be creating, and you use the hashtag #CampAllura and make any child sim, and they may be featured in that Let's Play. If you'd like to make a sim that will be featured in an upcoming competition show, all the details can be found at AlluringSimmer.com/project. Now let's get into today's build. So the reason why we are renovating Penny Pizzazz's apartment is because I've decided to start a new Let's Play called Life with Pizzazz. If you haven't seen my previous video, consider to check it out. I'll have it linked in the description. It also gave a little update about like what's going to be coming with the content on my channel, what things are going to be changing, what things I may not be continuing with. So definitely watch that video if you haven't already, so that way you can kind of have an idea of where I'm at in terms of my content schedule and what type of content I'll be putting out. We will still continue to do the Sims. That will not be changing. The only thing is the level of how much content I can put out is definitely going to be changing as I'm currently in school and working. So I have to make sure I am balancing out those priorities. I'm going to try and aim to get out at least 1 video per week, but I do stream consistently on Twitch and YouTube. So there's still content going out, and if you want to catch up with that, then consider to tune into the live streams when you see me going live, or you can watch back the VODs after the streams by just clicking on the live tab and catching up that way. As for my goals with the YouTube channel, that hasn't really changed. We're still pushing for the YouTube partner program. I want to say thank you so much because I think we just hit 830 subscribers, so we are getting closer and closer to 900, and I would love to hit 1,000 by the end of this year. I know that's a huge goal, but we have about like 4 months left, and I feel like in December I'll be able to push out a bit more content. So I'm hoping that we can reach that goal. If you're watching this and you're enjoying it so far and you think that you may enjoy some of my other videos, please be sure to subscribe so that way you can be notified when a new video goes out, and also so you can come back and catch up with some of the other videos. So right now, in terms of the content that I'm putting out, I'm obviously doing this Life with Pizzazz series, and if you want to see the past VODs, I've actually curated a playlist that you can check out. I'll have it linked in the description down below, where you can see all the behind the scenes of me like making the Sims and making this build, and then you can also watch this curated video where, you know, I cut down all the fluff and you can just see the build once it's fully getting into shape. And I'm also going to be doing some series on my Twitch channel. As I mentioned before, we're going to be doing like some sort of camp vibe when the new pack is released, and then we're also going to be doing a competition show, again using the new pack. So of course I need Sims. If you'd like to contribute, again, go to AlluringSimmer.com/project for more details on how to participate in that. But the new pack doesn't come out until I think October 2nd, so you have more than enough time to create a Sim and potentially have them in my series. I'll also be making Sims like on my stream as well to kind of prep for that, or I may consider using some Sims that were part of the Love Island series. I think it'd be fun to kind of like bring some of them back, especially since a lot of them were made by community members. So I'm kind of opening it up to see if, you know, new people want to make Sims, they're able to, and potentially be a part of my series. But I do also have Sims already curated from the past series that I can use if need be. Now when we get into this build that I'm currently doing, as I said before, we're renovating Penny's apartment, because for this series I'm going to be playing as Penny Pizzazz. I've created her family, I've created a backstory for her, and she's basically trying to pursue fame, kind of grow herself as an influencer and see how she can do with that. And then another part of that is she really wants to find romance. That's part of her lore. So I thought it'd be fun that like as she's trying to like gain influence, she can also be trying to like go on dates, see if she can meet new people, see what kind of things happen with that. And then if things are successful, then of course, she may be finding like her life partner. But if things are unsuccessful in terms of the dates that we go on, we may send her on to the next season of Love Island. But also with Love Struck, that we have the option of like Cupid's Corner, so I think it'd be fun to have her like try online dating. And then we also have the ability to go on like that 7 first dates thing where like you get the phone call. So I think that would be another fun way to kind of experience, her romance and see what kind of sim she can meet and see if she finds her potential love. I think I'm just super excited to sort of see where this Let's Play takes us, especially because I don't normally play as townies. I usually just have my sims befriend a townie or like potentially get with a townie at some point after making like my own sim and my own storyline. But it's going to be interesting to kind of play off a storyline that's already been created and see if we can kind of guide her down that path and what happens as we try to do that. I challenge you guys as well to consider picking a townie that isn't fully fleshed out yet. Like for example, Penny didn't have a family before I created them. She didn't really have a lot to her apartment. She just lived in a small studio. I did like the space, to be honest, but I did change up the layout and also made it more fitting for her social influencer lifestyle. But I think it'd be fun for you all to also like go into your game, pick a townie that you like, maybe one that's on their own or maybe one that already has a family, kind of give them a makeover, flesh out their lifestyle and see where that takes you. Because I feel like sometimes it can get a little not boring, because I don't think it's necessarily boring, but it can get a little difficult sometimes to have to constantly think about like what you want your storyline for your sims to be. I'm also someone who loves to do gameplay, but sometimes when I don't have like the creative juices going, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do today, and then I just end up doing nothing. I know we also have scenarios, so that's another way to kind of like get the storyline started since it's already been predetermined for you. But I think this is another fun way to kind of get creative with the game again, just by picking a townie that you like, playing out their life and seeing what happens. So as some of you may have already seen, and if you haven't already seen it, I did do a makeover of Penny Pizzazz, but I also created an entire family for her, and the create a sim for those sims will be coming out sometime next week. And then after that's been released, you will finally get the first episode of the Let's Play. And I think the way I want to do it is basically I will stream the gameplay and then cut it down for you guys to watch on YouTube. So if you want to see like the full gameplay, then consider to tune into my live streams at either twitch.tv/AlluringSimmer or here on my YouTube channel. I think it will be fun to give you guys both the like behind the scenes sort of perspective, and like you can see all the chaos and stuff that happens with my sims. But if you don't want to watch through like a 3-hour stream or catch up with the VOD at a later time, then you'll also have like a shorter condensed version so you can kind of see what you missed. And hopefully that's a good way to make it so if you prefer streams, you'll be able to see that content. But if you prefer just watching curated videos like this, I will have that option for you as well. So I think my plan is I will probably try and stream it at least once a week, maybe twice. If I were to stream it twice a week, then I would have like 2 episodes prepped pretty much. If I stream it once a week, then I'll just have like 1 video prepped at a time, which will make it not too bad because I'll have like a week to kind of edit that video down and upload it. But if I have 2, then I'll have 2 videos in advance, and maybe we could either do videos twice a week potentially, or I could just have like a backlog of videos prepped so that way I can make sure that I can stay consistent with this channel. Now that I feel like I've given you quite a bit of background information about this Let's Play and also more of an update about like my content schedule, even though I already said if you want to see more about my content schedule and plans, definitely check out my previous video where I did a makeover of Penny Pizzazz because I went into more detail there about what my plans are. Let's get into the actual build itself and like what I was going for. I really wanted to go for the like influencer influencer aesthetic with like the white marble kitchen and the very like cutesy decor and like minimalistic color scheme and minimalistic like just way of furnishing. However, I still wanted to have that like pop of color and that little pop of like eclecticness to sort of show her personality as well. So I think it's a perfect balance of like the classic influencer apartment with like the more modern vibes, but also still having personal touches that like represent Penny and like her style and the type of influencer that she is. So I think my plan with her is definitely to go like the fashion influencer vibe. I think that just makes the most sense for her. I think it'd be fun to have her like curate looks and try and sell them, maybe do like some modeling. She could also potentially, I don't know, I want to send her on like brand trips and stuff when we get the new pack. That was an idea from Bring, and I thought that was like such a fun idea, especially since now we'll be able to send Sims on getaways. Like imagine like, you know, those typical brand trips where we could send her away. She can receive like PR, she can also like try new food, she can get free products. Like I just think it'll be a fun time. And then here was my biggest struggle, because I was really trying to get the PR packages kind of look with those cardboard boxes. I did end up doing it later on, so when we get back to it, I'll kind of explain like how I made it work. But I'm very obsessed with how this kitchen turned out. I really wanted to have the espresso machine and like little coffee grinder, because that's one of those items that I just like never use. I always use like the coffee maker or the tea maker, and because we had very minimal like counter space after placing those down, I decided to condense the whole coffee maker tea maker situation by just using the kettle, since you can make hot chocolate with that, you can make coffee, you can make tea. So that's why I have the kettle there, and then I have the coffee grinder and espresso machine if you want like a more caffeinated beverage other than coffee. We have a microwave, and I realized I had to move the kettle over to the corner because there was no like open counter space, so like there was no room for our sim to cook. So I think in the future, if I can find the room, I might add some like island space or something like that, or maybe just one extra counter just so she has a bit more space to cook if she needs it. But I think this is fine for now. There's at least one open space, so I know for sure she'll be able to cook. But I do like when there's a little bit less clutter on the counters, just because sometimes the sims can be like really finicky about where they want to make their meal. One other thing that I want to point out about like playing as a townie sim is I feel like by having a sim that's already been made, it kind of helps you decide like how you want to choose their interest or their personality, as opposed to it just being random or like maybe sticking to the same thing that you usually do. Because for me, I feel like I always want to give my sims like good traits, but something that I do to like challenge myself, for example, is I will give them at least one negative trait or just not so great trait, just to give them like more of a balance of personality. And I do feel like playing as a sim that already has like a backstory makes it a little bit easier to kind of decide the flow of their storyline, and also how I'm gonna decorate their space and how I'm gonna choose their outfits. I feel like knowing that she's like in the social media influencer career, I was immediately like, okay, I know I'm gonna do like a modern apartment. I want to add a bit of a twist on it, make it a little bit more cutesy to fit her personal aesthetic. I also knew that I wanted her to be like a fashion influencer, or like someone who's into like makeup and stuff like that. So I have quite a few like products sprawled throughout her apartment. And I also knew that I wanted to do this as sort of like a not necessarily rags to riches, but sort of like building up her wealth sort of vibe. She's not really starting with rags because she's already pretty high up in the influencer career. I'm also thinking of potentially like taking her out of that career, either putting her in this influencer career or just having her be like, I don't know, just have her work her way up to like being a celebrity without being in any career. There's so many ways that you could get your sim like famous, and there's so many ways you could like build your following without actually having your sim in the social media influencer career. So I might do something like that as well. But I'm very excited to see like how everything turns out with her, if she ends up being successful, if she ends up finding love. If that doesn't end up being the case, I was also thinking like if she doesn't find love herself and like maybe we go on Love Island and it still doesn't work out, I was thinking we could also have it where like she hosts the next season of Love Island. So it's like her goal is to try and help others find love since she was having trouble, and like maybe she ends up meeting someone like behind the scenes. I was thinking, as I said before, if I do end up doing the competition show when like the new pack comes out, I think it would be fun to do it in this world and have her participate. Whether we end up doing like Love Island or a dating reality show or some other sort of competition show, I think it would be fun to have her like participate in that in some way. And then I also think it'd be fun to bring in some of the Sims from Love Island, the previous season that I recorded, and just like have them meet her as well, because like they're all obviously young adults. A lot of them didn't find love on the show, so I think it would make sense for her to like meet up with them at some point and see what happens. I think that by the end of the series, I want to see if I can incorporate a lot of my packs that I own into the series in some way. So like finding ways to use like Get Famous, obviously the new pack that's coming out, City Living, Growing Together, Business and Hobbies. I feel like there's a way that I can incorporate a lot of different features into this let's play, and I think because I'm leaving it so open-ended, it's not like a challenge or any sort of legacy that I'm trying to do. It gives me the room and the freedom to kind of do whatever I want and see what happens. Now, if you have any suggestions for specific features and stuff that you'd like to see me use from any of the packs that have come out for The Sims 4, then let me know. I really want to use this series as a way to kind of delve into, you know, packs that I maybe haven't played as much. Like I definitely want to play with Snowy Escape, which is why you may have seen like the skis and like all the ski equipment that was in her like main hallway. And I also want to include like high school years. Like I want to use a thrifty feature and see if there's a way I can turn it into sort of like a fashion business almost for her career. And there's just a lot of other things that I would love to like try and incorporate at some point. If she has kids, I think it'd be fun to incorporate a lot of the packs that offer stuff for child Sims and younger. At the end of the day, I just want this series to really showcase my creativity. I feel like doing the Love Island series really showcased the fact that like I could get really creative with this game and it's a really fun experience. And I want to say I appreciate my mods so much for all their help with that series, as well as my community members that contributed Sims for that series. And I just want to see where we can take that. I know I said that so many times, but with this series, I really want to experiment and see like how I can kind of test the bounds of this game. So I hope that you guys come along with me on this journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and you want to see more videos like this. Comment down below what you're looking forward to most for this series, and stay tuned until the end to see screenshots of this build. Thank you so much for watching. Bye everyone.